Hello, friends. It seems like it's been a long time since we've had Spanish masters and their unsurpassed sunny art on our channel. So today, we will start our journey into the world of Francisco Soria Aedo, an artist whose works impress with bright colors and lively smiles. Imagine Granada at the end of the 19th century, a city where the shadows of old houses intertwine with soft sunlight and the aroma of almonds and hot stone is in the air. It was here, on May 3rd, 1897, on Veronica de la Magdalena Street, that a boy was born who was destined to become one of the most brilliant masters of Spanish painting, Francisco Soria Aedo. His family had nothing to do with art. His father was engaged in agriculture, and his mother cherished hopes for a serious future for her son. But literature has always been valued in this house. Books with romantic stories shaped Francisco's vision of the inner world. However, the little boy was already a real dreamer. Now imagine the boy walking from his home through the narrow streets of Granada to the outskirts of the city, where nature generously reveals its colors and shapes. The fields, the villagers, the old trees, all of this settled in his imagination, leaving a vivid mark. But the decisive moment was a completely different scene: roosters. Yes, the colorful, proud English roosters that his father raised. Their feathers, glistening in the sun, impressed the boy so much that he began to draw them. His father saw it as something more than just fun and arranged for his son's first art studio in the attic of the family home. This is how his journey began, and the first sketches appeared, which, unfortunately, have not been preserved. Francisco did not stop there. At the age of 15, he began studying with the experienced artist Tomás Muñoz Lucena. A few years later, he found himself working in accounting not by vocation, but because of his mother's insistence. Do you want to know how he combined art and accounting? His mother sent him to work in a store, hoping that the numbers would cure him of his creativity. But instead, he secretly drew portraits of the owners and painted the accounting books. It was then that his first real works began to be born. Dear friends, if you like to discover the world of art, learn interesting facts, and admire artistic masterpieces like me, do not forget to subscribe to the channel, like, and comment. If you have any suggestions for improving the content, write in the comments. It's very important to me. I also remind you that the artist has very beautiful and realistic paintings, so wonderful that YouTube does not allow them to be shown because they are too explicit. So, be sure to check them out for yourself after you finish watching the video. And links to such paintings will appear in this video in the form of QR codes. To be continued, how a humble guy from Granada conquered Madrid and gained international fame. Don't switch the channel. Receiving your first award is always a special moment. For Francisco Soria Aedo, this moment was in 1919 when he won a competition for a poster for the celebration of Corpus Christi in Granada. Interestingly, the model for the drawing was his own sister. The victory brought not only his first serious success, but also his faith in himself. It was then that he decided to go to Madrid, the capital where great careers are born. But even here, life threw up surprises. You would be surprised to know that in parallel with his dreams of art, Francisco passed the exam for the Banco de la Plata and received a second position. His parents were still trying to change their son. However, fate had other plans. In 1920, thanks to an acquaintance with the director of the College of Spain in Rome, Soria met the Duke of Infinitu. It was this aristocrat who became his patron and opened the door to the world of great art. It was under his tutelage that Soria got into the studio of the great artist José María López Mesquita, the man who finally shaped his style. At the same time, he attends drawing classes at the Círculo de Bellas Artes and copies works in the famous Prado Museum. He also meets his future friend and like-minded artist Pedro Antonio. With him, Soria will later open a studio in Madrid's Passage Alhambra, the very place where Joaquín Sorolla himself once worked. Symbolic, isn't it? And now imagine an artist who goes on travels, not just as a traveler, but as a seeker of light, color, textures. Morocco, Algeria, Gabe's North Africa fascinated him. It was there that the legendary painting Types of Arabs was born. It brought him a silver medal at the 1924 National Exhibition and 4,000 pesetas from the state. Do you know how much that is in today's money? Write your version in the comments. But Francisco did not stop there. In the second half of the 20s, he participated in exhibitions in Paris, Stockholm, Brussels, New York, and even Miami. He exhibited paintings with catchy titles: Passion, Fawn, Idol, Paloma. In 1929, his masterpiece, Christmas Eve in the Village, won a gold medal at the International Exhibition in Barcelona. And this is in the same exhibition where such titans as Joaquin Mir, Santiago Rosanal, José Gutiérrez Solana, and José Aguiar participated. In the same years, Francisco married Fernanda Moreno Marin, a woman he portrayed in his portraits many times. His life was filled not only with exhibitions and awards, but also with personal happiness. The turbulent 1930s and the dramatic years of the Civil War were ahead. But as a true artist, Soria Aedo would not give up art.
More about this in the next chapter.
When the first cannon salvos of the Spanish Civil War rang out over Spain in July 1936, Francisco Soria Aedo was already a recognized artist. His paintings were exhibited in Paris, New York, Oslo, and Brussels. But war does not ask whether you are an artist or a simple peasant. It breaks everyone's life. His home in Madrid, on Pacifico Street, was destroyed by a bomb. He and his family are forced to flee to Valencia. It was here, in the midst of chaos, that Soria worked not only on paintings, but also participated in the preservation of cultural heritage, saving works of art from destruction. After the war, in 1939, he returned to his native Granada. Perhaps it was in the silence of the familiar streets and the color of Andalusian life that he found the strength for new creative pursuits. Family, comfort, memories, all this fills his brush with new energy. In 1947, already a recognized master, he was appointed professor of color at the San Fernando School of Fine Arts in Madrid. It was not just a career boost, it was a recognition of his ability to see the world through the prism of light and shadows, color and sensation. But fate throws up challenges again. In 1950, at an exhibition in Granada, an unknown person sets fire to the hall. 2 paintings burned down, and 2 more were damaged. And in 1961, after the exhibition in Paris, some of the works were stolen. They never returned to Spain. And at the same time, in these same years, an extraordinary transformation of his style took place. If earlier his painting was realistic, colorful, and detailed, in the 1950s and 1960s, he gradually turned to expressionism. The world becomes an emotion, the image dissolves in color, and the plot in feeling. His palette becomes darker but deeper. The figures become more generalized, the compositions more emotional. In the works of these years, one can see not only an artist, but also a philosopher, an observer of human pain and strength. In 1960, one of his works, Peasant Woman from Sierra de Gredos, was even used to decorate Spanish lottery tickets. And a few years later, in 1965, Francisco Soria Aedo received his last award, the prize for his painting Comet at the Salon de l'Automne in Seville. Unfortunately, he did not have time to see this recognition. On November 2nd of the same year, a heart attack ended the artist's life. He was only 68, but his legacy remains. There are paintings that speak for him. In the next chapter, we will tell you how Francisco Soria Aedo entered art history, what ideas he left behind, and how his name lives on today. We are gradually reaching the end of our journey, but the story of Francisco Soria Aedo will never end. When Francisco is mentioned, not only his paintings come to mind, but an entire era. The artist, who went through war, loss, love, and the change of artistic trends, left behind an impressive legacy, not only in museums, but also in the souls of those who saw his paintings. His art is a hymn to the common man. Peasants from Andalusia, bright figures from Castile, colorful Moroccans. He depicted them with warmth, not idealizing them, but not devaluing them either. It was the truth, conveyed through light, color, and depth of emotion. His characters smile, sincerely, broadly, humanly. Such a smile is rarely seen in classical painting, and it became the hallmark of Soria Aedo. Today his paintings are kept in museums in Seville and Granada. A street in his hometown is named after him. In 1988 and 1998, retrospective exhibitions dedicated to his life and work were held. It seems that his brushes revived the very soul of Spain. Dear friends, thank you for sharing this artistic journey with us. If this story has inspired you, please support us by liking and subscribing to our channel and click on the bell to not miss new videos. Write in the comments whose creative journey you would like to hear next. Perhaps it will be your favorite artist. See you soon in the world of great art, where pictures tell more than words.